Hello, everybody. So, as we discussed earlier, the andrecium, let us go with the gynecium and the placentation. So, we already discussed what type of ovaries can be seen in the earlier videos: superior ovary, inferior, half superior, half inferior. We have hypogynous, epigynous, perigynous type of ovaries were seen. Now, the small introduction about this gynecium is which is the innermost or the fourth wall of a complete or the bisexual flower. The fourth wall or the innermost wall of a complete flower, where which is also considered as the essential wall along with the andrecium, because as these two are involved in the formation of the male and the female gametes, which are participating in the reproduction, which are like making the fertilization process. That's why these are considered as the essential walls, because these are the structures which actually containing the female reproductive parts of the flower. So this gynecium is considered as the female reproductive part of the flower. Now, this gynecium will also having the individual members. I think you heard the term called as a carpel. So the individual members of this gynecium, we call it as a carpel, as we have the stamen over there. So the stamen or the individual structure of andrecium or the male part. So the individual structure of gynecium, we call it as a carpel. Those are the microsporophylls. These are the megasporophylls, because they will produce the structures which are larger in size when compared to the size of the male gametes. So that's why the megasporophyll. This carpel is actually containing the three main parts. One is stigma, which is present at the tip, and the function of the stigma is to receive the pollen grain on its surface. And the long stack type structure, we call it as style, through which the pollen tube will be growing to reach the egg for the fertilization. And the inner part is the ovary, which is the enlarged basal part, which is sitting on the thalamus or the receptacle, the basal part on which the style is actually present. Now, or you can say that the style is like a connected structure which connects the ovary and the stigma. So this tip is the stigma, the stack type of structure is the style, and this is the ovary. And the ovary is important part where it is containing the ovules. The ovules will actually containing the egg cell. Now, what is a placenta? As we are seeing, we have the different types of placentations here, means how these ovules are actually attached in the ovary. So that is called as a placentation. Now, the placenta is a flat cushion type of structure, and to this ovules are attached. So to this ovules are attached. So if you see the ovule structure, we have the egg cell at the center. So this egg cell, the sides of it, we have two synergids, and on the opposite side we have three cells. These are three antipodals. At the center, two polar nuclei are present. Now, this egg cell will be towards this, it will have the opening to which the pollen tube will uh, reach the egg cell for the fertilization. That opening we call it as a micropyle. Now, how this whole is a ovule structure. How this ovule is actually attached in the ovary. So it is attached to the one structure that we call it as a placenta. So usually it will be having the layers called as the integuments. This integuments will be connected to the stack type of structure. So that is a funiculus. This funiculus is attached to the base. So this base is a swollen type of structure, flat like cushion. We call it as a placenta. Now let us see how these ovules are arranged in the ovary onto the placenta in a different modes. So before that, we should know the condition of this carpels. The carpel is nothing but all the stigma style ovary collectively called as a carpel. When more than one carpel is present, so if the single structure is present, this single structure we call it as a carpel. But what is the case whenever more than one structure is present? Then we can see the different conditions. So whenever the more than one carpel, they may be in a free condition or they may be in a fused condition. So if one is present, that is individually present. If more than one, either it is a free or maybe the fused. Now the if all the carpels are free from the another wall in the case of gynoecium, so suppose many carpels are there, so they are freely present without even joining or without even uniting with the another carpel. So all the carpels are free. We call it as a free carpels. That condition is apocarpus condition. Apo means free, carpus related to the carpels. So many carpels are there. These many carpels are in free condition, that is a apocarpus condition. Suppose all these many number of carpels may be in a fused condition, means all the carpels are completely united. If you are just looking from the outside, they look like a single carpel. So that fused carpel condition we call it as syncarpus condition. Syn means fused, carpus related to the carpels. Where the carpels are fused, that condition is syncarpus. So you can find this apocarpus condition in the case of lotus and the rose. The fused carpel or the syncarpus condition can be seen in the tomato and the mustard. So anyhow, we are going to summing up all these in the families. Now, after the fertilization, we all know that all this ovary is converting into the fruit and all the ovules are becoming the seeds. Now, let us see how these ovules are attached to the placenta in the ovary that comes under the types of placentation. So, majorly, we are discussing the 5 different types of placentation. So, first we'll go with the marginal placentation. So, the word itself is indicating what is meant by marginal. So all these ovules are attached to the margin or at the edge part or the ridge. So mostly this type of placentation can be seen in the pea plant. So if you try to observe it, the fruit of this pea plant, we call it as a pod. Suppose the pod is present in this way. To the one side or at the one margin, so there will be having this type of structures. Those are actually the pea is nothing but the ovule. So they are attached in this way. So each lobed structure is the ovule, and this structure is of the ventral side, the back side, sorry, front side, and where the bulged portion is there, that is the dorsal side. And this line we call it as a margin or ridge. Now, this ovule is attached to this structure. So the place where the ovule is attached, that place we call it as a placenta, which is a cushion type of structure to which ovules are attached. Now, if you are seeing in this side view, suppose if you just open the pea plant and observe this pea pod and observe, you can actually find like this at the center. Yeah. Now, inside of it, you can actually find the arrangement of this piece. Suppose in this, it is present like this. So the opposite side, it cannot be present. That is empty. So it is present alternatively. Because if both are present at the same place, they cannot have a proper place. So they will be crushed. All the P will be crushed. So that's why they just arrange it alternate to the each other, providing the proper place on the opposite side. So these ovules are attached. They are attached in the two rows, and these structures are the ovules. And the place where they are attached, that attached part is the placenta. So this bulged side is the dorsal side, or you can say it as a dorsal margin, and all these are attached to the ventral margin. So you can take the examples to understand this presentation. Now if you just cut it, if you go with the transverse section or like a horizontal section, you can find the P arrangement in this way. So these are this whole is a structure where at the one side this ovules are attached or the P is attached. Let us say the P is attached here, and the place where this P is attached, that place we call it as the placenta. Now this is a ovule, and if you see inside of it, you can find the one chamber. So if the one chamber is present, so here we are using the term called as locule. So locule means chamber. As the one chamber is present, this type of ovary, this whole structure is a ovary, we call it as unilocular type of ovary. Uni means one, locule means chamber. Unilocular means one chambered ovary which can be seen in the pea plants, and this type of placentation we call it as a marginal type of placentation. So in this pea plant, all the placenta is forming on the ridge along the ventral suture of this ovary. And what is meant by ridge? A ridge is nothing but a elevated narrow type of structure which is formed by the attachment of ovules to this placenta, and it is making like a one suture type of structure. We call it as a ridge. All these ovules are born on this ridge, forming the two rows of the arrangement. And this type of ovaries, as the single chamber is seen, we call it as a unilocular type of ovaries. And how many carpels are here? So the single carpel is here. We call this as monocarpal type of gynoecium. So this whole gynoecium will be containing only the one carpel. So that placentation is the marginal type of placentation. So next we'll go with the second type, that is axial placentation. So remember, axial means lying on the axis. So axis, we all know that the major part. So whenever the placenta is present on the axis and all the ovules are attached to the axis, that type of placentation we call it as a axial placentation. So here, whenever the placenta, so placenta is a structure to which ovules are attached. So this placenta is on the axial side, like they are exactly on the axis, and all the ovules are attached on the axis. That type of placentation we call it as a axial placentation. Now let us try to draw this. Suppose you can see this condition in the case of China rose or hibiscus, tomato, and the lemon. So you can find in all these three cases the axial placentation. So when you're just imagine you cut the tomato or you cut the lemon. So where you can find these seeds or where you can find the ovules, they all the ovules are attached to the center part, center axis, right? Suppose this is a lemon which you cut. You can actually find the a center axis. So this one is the central axis. So what we told, the on this central axis only the placenta is present. Suppose let us say the placenta is present here on the central axis. Wherever the placenta is there, there you can find the attachment of ovules, right? So these are ovules, and the base where the ovules are attached, that is a placenta, and the placenta is present on the central axis or on the main axis. That's why we call this placentation as the axial placentation. Now, the special case is this particular one will be dividing into the chambers. Means from the central axis to the this ovary wall, you can actually find the true walls. So these true walls are called as a septa or the septum. So the true septa can be seen. So because of the presence of this true septa, this whole ovary is dividing into the chambers. So here you can see the three chambers because of the presence of three septa. So whenever the placenta is present on the axis and all the ovules are attached to it, all the ovules are attached to this axis, we call it as a axial type of placentation. So you can find many locules or many chambers. So that's why these ovaries are multilocular type of ovaries. Many chambers. Locule is nothing but a chamber. So due to the formation of this septa, septa is just like a wall which is dividing it. These ovaries are multilocular ovaries which can be seen in this axial placentation, And in this case, you can find the carpels are fused. So that fused carpus condition is the syncarpus. If free are there, that is a apocarpus. So this type of ovary is syncarpus, multilocular type of ovary, right? So you can find the one chamber here, you can find another chamber here. So these are of the multilocular type. Many chambers are present, true septum is present, can be seen in the China rose, tomato and lemon. So that is the axial placentation. There is another type, parietal placentation. Axial is on the axis, parietal is on the peripheral side. So peripheral means towards the outer side, not towards the inner side. So here what it is indicating, the placenta is present on the peripheral side, means all the ovules are attached to the inner side of the ovary. So if they are attached to inner side of ovary, what does it represent? It says that the placenta position is at the peripheral side or the inner side of the ovary. So to which all the ovules are attached. So let us try to draw it. Now this is a ovary where the ovules are present inside of it. So inside of it, towards the peripheral side or the inner wall of this. So this is the outer wall of ovary and this one is the inner wall. And where the placenta is present, the placenta is present at the inner wall of it. Suppose here this pink colored dots are representing the placenta. So wherever the placenta is present, obviously the ovules are going to attach to this, right? So this is a one ovule, another ovule. So all the ovules are attached in this way. So there is a special feature for this parietal placentation. Usually this whole, there is no divisions or there is no septum in this. So the whole one is looking like a single chamber. But here the ovary in the initial stage, it is of the one chamber. But slowly one more false type of septum will be developed. So this false septum will give the appearance like as the ovary is containing the chambers. So this false septum divide the ovary into the chambers. So the initially one chambered ovary becomes the two chambered ovary due to the formation of this false septum. So this false septum we call it as a replum. So which is not a true wall. A false wall is actually present which is dividing the ovary into the chambers. That we call it as a replum. That false septum we call it as replum. Now where you can find this placenta. So this placenta is present at the inner side of the ovary or the peripheral side. All the ovules are attached to it. So this whole structure is the ovary and you can find initially the single chamber one is becoming the two chambered ovary because of the formation of the false septum called as a replum. So you can find this parietal type of placentation in the mustard plants and the poppies or argemone. In these two conditions, in these two type of plants, you can actually find the parietal type of placentation. So the next type of placentation is free central. So here the term is indicating all these ovules are born on the central axis and you cannot find any septa here. Suppose this whole structure is a ovary and it will be having a central axis. So this one is a central axis. And where the ovules are attached, they are attached to the central axis only, which means the placenta is also present on the central axis. If the ovules are attached, means they are attached to the placenta, the cushion type of structure. So this is a placenta to which the ovules are attached and the placenta is present on the central axis. That type we call it as a free central type of placentation. So here there are chances to confuse. You cannot find any chambers here. So this whole one is a single chamber. The outer line is like a ovary wall and all the ovules, this each structure is a ovule which are attached to the central axis and you cannot find any septa or the divisions. You cannot find any septa or you cannot find any chambers. So it is looking like a one single chamber. That's why these type of ovaries are unilocular type of ovaries or single chambered ovaries. All the ovules are born on the central axis and there is no septa. Where you can find this free central type of placentation? You can find it in the dianthus and the primrose. In these two conditions, you can find the free central placentation. And the last type which we have is about basal placentation. That term is indicating itself like the placenta is at the base of it. The basal type of placentation, the single ovule will be there which is attached to this. Now the placenta is actually developed at the base of the ovary. So the single ovary is present in it, which will be containing only the one single chamber. So if you just observe here, you can find a, so this whole structure is a ovary, and this ovary at the base it is containing the placenta. So let us say this is a ovary, at the base of it this part is placenta. So wherever the placenta is there, to which ovule is attached, so this is the ovule which is attached to it. And this part, let me draw, this is the stigma, style, and the ovary. So if this is a structure, how many chambers can be seen here? You can find only the single chamber in it. So this is the unilocular type of ovary. Only the single ovule is present and the placenta is present at the base. So this type of placentation we call it as a basal placentation. Unilocular ovary is present and the placenta is developing at the base of this ovary. Now you can find in the case of sunflower and the marigold. In these two flowers, you can find the basal type of placentation. So the placentation is nothing but all the arrangement of ovules within the ovary, and ovary is bearing one or more than one ovule which are attached to the flat cushion type of structure called as a placenta. So the marginal and axial, parietal, free central, and the basal type of placentation.